like the seats of an 86 Delta 88 coupe on D's and Bones, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Going live in a minute, Blizzard King. This is Winter Dinner Spurling Podcast. You are rocking with the realest black men represented. Ain't no lies, cause we winning. Catching flies, ain't no feelings. Uncle D, we the villain, baby. We just left the village, baby. Now we in them villas, baby. Dinner Spurling Podcast. Tuning in, we get it, baby. You can hate the player, hate the game. We love all you haters. Hate watch, hate watch. Calling lovely ladies. Hands on your knees. You can thank us later. We snatching the crowns off of queens. We obliterate them. Tell the truth, shame the devil. They trying to eliminate us. You begging the sipping haters. Peeling layers off potatoes. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling Podcast. Whoa. Southern Cadillac music like Outkast. Ain't jumping without bass. Dennis Spurling Podcast. Whoa.
We have to clean up what's going on in our house before we do anything else. Look, you might not like it, but that's still who we are. That exuberance, that flamboyantness, that's the black man. And below I see athleticism, I see timing, I see soul. I promise you, if that was a white man out there dancing like that, moving and had that sort of timing, you all would be okay with it. And I'm telling you, it's okay to be okay with it. It's appropriate. He is at the African-American graduation. He's getting his AA degree. That boy is probably no more than 19, 20 years old. Coming from where he came from, the same place I came from, if I could dance like that, I might do it now.
Puerto Rican man or Dominican man?
Black. Black.
Puerto Rican man or Dominican man?
Like black. Like all the cultures. This is the happiest people I ever met. And the nicest.
If you tell the truth, you're going to rub
the most beautiful
If you tell the truth, you lose your job. If you tell the truth, people think you're a bad guy.
We winning, we winning. We foundation inventors over here. Black men been building and contending over here. Gender wars have started, lot of sinning over here. Trying to get it together, no pretending over here. God's plan is real, they attacking the original. How you want protection in your section, hypocritical. How you want a real man, think it's so cynical. Number one, in hospital deaths, talking clinical. Depression turn 50, die alone, it's preventable. You can't even wear your own hair using chemicals. You won't even listen to your man, not identical. You having them Drake babies, we not feeling you. Time is running out, you can't hide, we revealing you. Ain't nobody ever told the lies that we see in you. Divest, vanilla up your pie, still invisible. That's why we fly to friendly skies, and here's the proof. Yeah, baby, we winning over here. No drama, no mamas, yeah, we winning over here. Options, we got options, we winning over here. Why take a L when we winning over here? This when it feels like we winning over here. Celebrate, they hate while we winning over here. Smell that, that's confidence, we winning over here. Passport, no doubt, cause we winning over here. We winning over here. Man. Can't wait to get back to Thailand, man. Got on my Bangkok shirt, man. I'll be back out there. Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm just peace, relaxation. You had enough of the Matrix? Oh man, I already had enough. When I got back almost 2 months ago.
Different. What I tell you, when you come back, everything.
Oh yeah, always. We winning over here. Jump the blizzard jumps. Jump the blizzard, yeah, the blizzard jumps. Jump the blizzard, yeah, the blizzard jumps. Jump the blizzard, cause the blizzard jumps. Finances are short, so they taking from the men. Open up them borders, let them immigrants come in. Dilute the water, so you sipping from the sin. Bioengineered all the food that's going in.
This is science meat. FDA approved science meat, of course. It was grown in a vat instead of inside an animal's body. And I'm about to chow down on it.
Oh.
wars in the country, even music full of gin. Evil spirits and devils got us jumping out the spin. Can't trust the people, no community events. Diseases inside, destroy communities within. Yeah, baby, we winning over here. No drama, no mamas, yeah, we winning over here. Options, we got options, we winning over here. Why take a L when we winning over here? That's what when it feels like we winning over here. Celebrate they hate while they winning over here. Smell that, that's confidence, we winning over here. Passport, no doubt, I'll be winning over here. Up jump the blizzard and the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. Up jump the blizzard and the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. Up jump the blizzard, yeah, the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. Up jump the blizzard and the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king.
And $1 million for you can't see the pumps. Not country. Country girl just love it just because. Wanna work so hard? You work too hard, man, and don't get. Country girl take you how you is. Country girl accept you. You understand what I say? Country girl will cook for you, clean for you, wash your clothes for you, make sure wipe out mat out your eye for you, dig out your nose for you, bust your bum for you, turn in no time for
I'm
that.
trying to get see what that be like right there. Look, be that.
Gunshot means forward. You requested it, so we rewind.
Yeah, baby, we winning over here. No drama, no mamas, yeah, we winning over here. Options, we got options, we winning over here. Why take a L when we winning over here? That's what when it feels like we winning over here. Celebrate they hate while they winning over here. Smell that, that's confidence, we winning over here. Passport, no doubt, I'll be winning over here. Up jump the blizzard and the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. Up jump the blizzard and the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. Up jump the blizzard, yeah, the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. Up jump the blizzards and the blizzard jumps me. Up jump the blizzard talking about the blizzard king. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning, 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 we winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning, 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 we winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning, 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 we winning, we winning, we winning, we winning. We winning, we winning, we winning, we winning, 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 we winning, we winning, we winning, we winning.
And then you wonder why brothers want to get on the airplanes and go other places. Half the time we could deal with the women, it's you dudes. You self-hating, selfish, narcissistic black men that we don't want to be around. We can't enjoy anything. Because if we got 2 nickels more to rub together, then you want to come hit us upside the head and take it. Y'all always coveting somebody else's stuff. Y'all, truthfully, y'all jealous of that man, Aaron Sloan. You wish you could speak like him. He was too proud, and so y'all wanted to break him down, just like the slave catcher DNA that's running through your blood. What's up? Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Hey, fellas, if you want to comment, either you're going to be a member or you're going to have a wrench. We got to get the membership up, so go ahead and join the membership now. Nevertheless, this is Dennis Spurling. This is a hot one. Welcome to the broadcast. They call me Uncle D. They call me the Blizzard King. I didn't want to talk about this, man. I didn't want to... Somebody type Snow Bunny in the chat room. Somebody type Snow Bunny in the chat room. Man, we got a Snow Bunny hunter out here. A matter of fact, Buddy decided he wanted to come participate in this one. If this was going to be hot. Uncle D don't want me to tell y'all this, But I know a little something about snow bunny hunting. I be hunting snow bunnies all the time. Well, we're gonna let Buddy get back to his leisurely spot here. But fam, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. So the great Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, the king of word salad, the I mean, the brother had a rap album with no rap album. He has been caught chasing snow bunnies. Let me just go ahead and get straight up into this. We're trying to get 20 super chats. If we get 20, that's plenty. If you want to say something, either you got to be a member, you got to have a wrench, or you got to hit the super chat up. And nevertheless, fam, what we talking about tonight is Black Queen Praiser caught chasing snow bunnies. Hashtag Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. And here's the thing, like, and somebody type Buddy in the chat room. Shout out to Buddy. But Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, like many public figures in academia and activism, often face criticism regarding their stance and their perceived authenticity as to their advocacy. Okay, and shout out to my man Jamal Smith. Thank you for being first up, fam. Critics sometimes argue that public proclamations about race and equality might not always align with their personal actions or private communications, as suggested by this incident involving Miss Nancy Mace, who is a congresswoman. And I'm going to tell you, she put him on blast. Now, in discussions around racial advocacy and public rhetoric, it's important to consider the broader context. Advocates are scrutinized for both public and private personas, okay? And their effectiveness can be called into question if these personas appear inconsistent. We often comment that if Barack Obama, or should I say it like this, you're pro-black everywhere else but the bedroom, and people are going to look at that and say you're a bit they're going to say you're hypocritical. So discussions about authenticity and advocacy, especially when it comes to pro-black, are crucial as they influence public trust and the impact of the advocacy on the community that it aims to serve, and that's us. Somebody type us in the chat room. And this scenario with him and Ms. Mace underscores the complexity of the public life and activism, where actions, words, and the congruence between the two are all subject to public interpretations and critique. And now the incident I'm talking about, it involves Michael Eric Dyson and Representative Nancy Mace. It involved a CNN discussion, and the incident began during a CNN panel discussion on August 15, 2024, where both Dr. Dyson and a liberal author and academic, we know him, and he teaches at Vanderbilt, him and Representative Nancy Mace, a Republican congresswoman from South Carolina, were guests. And it all started because of the mispronunciation of Kamala Harris's name, okay? And during the discussion, Representative Mace mispronounced Vice President Kamala. Shout out to Cody Marshall. He said Michael Derek Dyson was caught drinking milk. Oh, you guys are funny, man. You guys are funny. Which led to Dyson, and it led to him criticizing her. So Dyson, basically, this woman mispronounced his name, and so he criticized her, and he suggested that the mispronunciation was reflective of a broader history of the legacy of white disregard for the humanity of Black people. You know, he might have been reading into that a little bit because, you know, sometimes Black folk have names that a little hard. It's not like John and Tom, pretty darn easy. But anyway, the conversation between Mace and Dyson became heated, with both of them speaking over each other. And Representative Mace later stated that Dyson had essentially called her a racist during their exchange. And after the panel, Dyson sent Mace texts that were more cordial than on air. And I use the term cordial loosely, okay? Now, I actually have those comments, and this man has gone on to say more, but here's the thing. This woman went so far as to enter his text messages into the congressional record during a subsequent discussion about the mispronunciation of the names and highlighted the prominent Democrats have also mispronounced Miss Harris's name. Because remember, Dr. Dyson sit around and call this woman a racist. You understand me? He basically said that her mispronouncing Kamala Harris's names, or Kamala or Kamala, is somehow racist. That's basically what this man was saying. And so, but irrespective of what he thought, he still decided it was a good idea to go ahead and give her a call. So, you know, and there's been a big public backlash to that, you know, because it's like, dude, you saying one thing and you doing another. After these texts went in, she entered them into the record. Okay. And then so he's been on a tour trying to defend himself. He's been on several shows. And then he went on to call her a bigot and a racist, but you was flirting with her though. You see what I'm saying? And these comments, or should I say, Mace responded to Dyson's comments by critiquing his dismissal of her feelings as a racist and a misogynist. And the exchange between them continued to draw attention and stir public media discourse regarding political correctness, racial sensitivity, and the dynamics of public debates. And this incident highlights the complexities and tensions that can rise or that arise in public discourse. Now, here's the thing, okay? I'm gonna let you guys judge for yourself, okay? You tell me. Now, I got some guys in here who've been contributing. Shout out to Simeon Tico, Mike, Mr. Dyson wanted to lay down and make snow angel. Boy, yeah, it's gonna be a good one tonight, man. Look, if you want to be a member, man, tonight is the night to join, man. We're gonna have a good time up here tonight because I have a bigger picture that I'm not just gonna sit up here and badmouth this man. I don't do that, but I do want to highlight the hypocrisy, in my opinion. Okay, now the first thing I'm gonna do, let me go ahead and cue this up. This is the actual CNN video. Okay. I went ahead and pulled it up out of the archives. I'm going to go ahead and say fair use. Okay, I'm going to put fair use along the bottom. And let's go ahead and listen. Let's listen to this exchange, right? Now, this is back in August. If you with me, if you can hear it, hit the #1 button. By the way, we got four super chats. We need 16 more. Let's listen.
History and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you weren't a racist.
That is complete.
No, you don't have to intend racism to accomplish it.
You are intending that
your disrespect of Kamala Harris.
Now, mind you, all of this comes from misspelling or mispronouncing this woman's name. Now, look at the energy, though. You know, I mean, I just want you to look at the energy, man. Look at the energy that this man is expending. Keep in mind that this black man is married. I think he's been married a couple of times, but 3 times. This is a married man. Let's keep listening.
It's part and parcel of a tradition of disrespect.
It's offensive,
Congresswoman. Why can't you just?
I'm not calling you a racist. I'm saying what the practice is racist.
You absolutely are.
Let me get.
Now she's saying you calling me a racist, and he said no, I'm not. People know when you talking bad about them. That's basically what you said. You might not be admitting that you called her a racist, but you call this woman a racist, okay?
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said, I didn't know her name.
Fair use.
He's going off so much that even Professor, listen to this.
Let's slide forward a little bit.
Let me get.
No, what's disgusting is your disrespect of her.
Professor,
this gentleman said, I didn't know her name. He's trying to do it.
Is her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is, and if.
So, you know, but you hear this. This is a heated exchange.
25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood.
Here you go, bringing black women up, right? And so he is basically using black women as a shield. Okay, he is sat up here and called this woman a racist, and then he's sitting up here using black women as a shield. You know what's racist? And this is, to me, this is like a man, a husband who hides behind his wife. Oh, my wife won't let me go. Instead of just being a man and saying, I don't, agree with you. Listen.
And if 25 years ago,
white women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the price of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women.
25
they
years
care
ago,
for your babies
25 years ago, I became the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the Military College of South Carolina. I fought my way through it.
Pronounce her name right.
Sweat, and tears.
Pronounce her name right.
Kamala Harris, if I were a man,
You said
I will say anything I want.
I mean, this is what our pro-blacks are fighting over. They're fighting over names, the proper pronunciation of names. Okay, what would UEP Newton say about this? I want y'all to just think about that, man. Okay, just think about that. This is where we've come to. Keep listening.
It's Kamala. You're doing this on purpose, Congresswoman.
That's disrespectful.
You can't expect people to respect your service if you don't respect
walked that stage 25 years ago, she
You're
would
a
have
white
said
woman
it. She would have
disrespecting a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from women.
problematic.
First of all, they keep saying she's disrespecting a black woman, and we don't necessarily know if Kamala Harris is black or not yet. Now, nevertheless, after that exchange, that heated, would you all agree that was a heated exchange? Do you think that these people are nice to each other? Are they friendly to each other? I don't know. It doesn't seem like they was enemies or something like that. You thought it was Bull Connor versus Stokely Carmichael or something like that, man. You know that. I mean, that's the way that came off. But nevertheless, after the show, all right, after it was all said and done and so on and so forth, these two folk got all nice and snuggly. Let me pull the screen up. I want y'all to take a good look at this right here. Let me know if you can see it. So this is what transpired afterwards. Now I want you to take a good look at this photograph. Look at my man. My man, look at my man right there. My man look happy. Oh man, somebody typed Snow. Now he just called this woman a racist a few minutes ago. And then I'm looking at your little hand right there, boy. You are holding that thing tight, boy. Look at that hand right there, boy. You are 1, 2. You got all 4 fingers and the thumb back there, baby. Boy, you gonna get me too'd out here for this. Man, look at that, man. Look, you got your belly. Your belly is protruding all into her stomach and everything, man. You tight up in there, bro. I mean, ain't no room in. I don't see no daylight up in here, Playboy. None. I don't see none. Y'all don't look angry to me. You don't look mad to me. And then here's the cold part about it. Then this cat, he thought it was a good idea to send this beautiful vanilla queen. He sent the photograph to her, and I'm gonna show you the photograph. Right, mind you, this man just sat up here and implied that this woman was a racist and an enemy of, black progress, right? And then here, he sent this message: shh, don't tell anybody. We look good together. He got a little happy face and then the little kissy emoji. Come on now, what's this about? And she put ha-ha and ha-ha, something like that. You throwing kissy emojis at women? This is what I would call a fishing hook. And then he got a response. And then he added on to that, well, you're gorgeous. Now, I know this brother's well-spoken, but that should be you are or your, not your. Or should I? I'm sorry. He said your gorgeousness. So he's actually right. I'm wrong. Nevertheless, the fact that you're a married man and you sending this white woman, somebody typed Snow Bunny in the chat room. You sent this Snow Bunny this message, and you just got through arguing with this woman and telling her she was a racist or implying that she was. I mean, just think about that. Hold on. There's more. Somebody typed there's more in the chat room. All my members. Remember, the only way you can comment is if you're a member. So go ahead and become a member. Let's read the rest of this. Okay? This man, our great pro-black advocate, learned author and doctor, Well, your gorgeousness makes the photos. So there's that. Now, sir, sir, you just got on the internet and made it seem like this woman was a bigot or something like that. And she, you know, let's set aside the fact that you're a married dude, okay? But I would think at least it's not like he said, hey, I respect your arguments. I disagree with you vehemently. Here's a photograph. Thank you so much. I respect you. You didn't come at this woman like that. You came at her straight with the you know, the fishing hook. Let's see if she bites. Maybe we should have dinner sometime. I don't know. But all of this is inappropriate. I'm just going to tell you that now. If anything, it's inappropriate. All right? If anything, it's just inappropriate, you know, especially considering this heated political season that we're dealing with. Nevertheless, Lil Mama, let me show you something. Hold on a minute. Mm-hmm. When I first saw this text message and I heard about this story, the first thing that came to mind was this. This is what I thought about. That's somebody type what I'm thinking in the chat room. Somebody type what I'm thinking in the chat room. 2 words. Somebody, let me make it a little bigger. But you guys who don't know, that's Denzel Washington from Training Day. This is what I thought. When I saw that, yep, that's a great actor right there. Yeah, that's what I thought right there. Like, that's what I thought. Nevertheless, it wasn't over because Representative Mace decided she was going to put this cat on blast. Somebody type on blast in the chat room. Here you are calling this Snow Queen, this vanilla princess, this Viking overlord of love. You telling her she's a racist and a bigot, and you sending her pictures and calling her names or implying. And then, you know what? She used the power that she had to put you on blast. She is in Congress, and she printed out his text messages. Miss Mace printed out his text messages and his photograph and entered them into the official record of the United States that will be there forever in the Library of Congress. It's gonna be there forever. And here's what she had to say. If you don't believe me.
The record, a screenshot of a text message I received from the esteemed professor from Vanderbilt, Michael Eric Dyson, after my CNN interview, begged me for photos. In this text, he says, after calling me racist on CNN, shh, don't tell anybody, we look good together, and sent me a kissy emoji. And the guy says I'm gorgeous in all these photos. I don't think he's that bent out of shape on how anyone pronounces Kamala. And if we're going to have that standard, you got to hold it to both sides, not just one or the other.
It just goes to show how
Damn. Bro, you just got put on blast. Like, from now on, when any historians Google your name, this is what's going to pop up. Highly inappropriate. Highly inappropriate. This woman just put you all the way on blast. And so, if somebody type pro-black in the chat room, this is our modern day pro-blacks right here. These are our modern day pro-blacks. Okay. Oh, hold on. It gets worse. It gets worse. So your boy couldn't let it go. This, you know, now my man just couldn't let it go, right? He had to keep talking. He had to keep on chatting it up. He just couldn't let it go. So what he thought it was a good idea. Shout out to Keisha Pay only was, yeah, nobody puts you on blast like white women. You don't mess with boy. Ooh, somebody type ooh in the chat room, sir. Sir, why, sir? Why did you do yourself? Why? All you had to do, and then look, my man, look, let me explain something. He can't let it go. Okay? Bro, you caught red-handed. But he decides he wants, and somebody needs to take his phone. Somebody needs to take this brother's phone because he's doing more damage than good. Some of you all who follow my Instagram page, you've seen this already. I want y'all to see it for yourself. Let me go ahead and I want you to see. I want you to see what I've seen. I'm gonna pull it up. He decides to get on the Instagram and I guess clarify things, but his clarification only makes him look more guilty to me, if you ask me. And it's not helping at all. But he starts explaining. Somebody type explaining in the chat room. And shout out to everybody. I wonder if he's going to write another apology to the lovely ladies. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, Playboy, you gonna have to hold this one. And we need 11 more super chats. I'm gonna pull it up. Let me see if I can go ahead and cue this thing up real quick, because I want y'all to see what the state of the modern day pro-black. I want y'all to see for yourself. Now I'm gonna scroll through a few things here and get to where I want to. Y'all make sure y'all join my Instagram page. My Instagram page is popping. So if you can hear this, hit the number 1 button. Can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that? Let me know if y'all can hear that. Ooh. Hold on. You saying she was vicious and she was nasty and she refused to call Kamala Harris by her real name, but you still said that this is what he's saying. I'm gonna put it back on, baby. I'm gonna let y'all get all of this. Let me cue it up. Hold on. All right. That should work now. Let me know if you can hear it. I'm gonna play it now. All right.
Her right name.
Can you hear
We
it?
had a bitter exchange about that. She claims in the interview that I called her racist when I went out of my way to say she wasn't a racist. I said, you're a wonderful woman. But let me say this to you, because I know you probably didn't understand this or mean it, but when you call Kamala Harris out of her name, that is perpetuating a legacy of inequality and of white subordination of black. Hey, my friends, Michael Eric Dyson here.
All right.
Just want to clear something up, a vicious untruth and rumor that's being spread by Congresswoman Nancy Mace, claiming I was trying to hit on her. So I'm trying to figure this out. So this is our complete text exchange that she says proves I was trying to hit. Oh, so you called me a racist? No, I didn't. So she's looking for some reason to try to exploit the situation. This is the text exchange. I sent her, Abby Phillip, the host of the show, suggested we take pictures. I said, let's take a picture. She said, Abby said, when you post it, then tag me too. And then we'll have fun. Because the whole point was,
I've never heard this man say and so many times. All this explaining. Somebody type explaining in the chat room.
We'll have fun. Two bipolar opposites. Michael Eric Dyson on one side, Nancy Mace on the other. So I sent her and she said, great pick. And I said, shh, don't tell anybody. We look good together.
You know what,
with a laughing face and a kissy face. And my point was, shh, don't tell anybody, because we are bipolar. Oh, so you call me a...
You don't send your colleagues kissy faces. You know, I've never sent opposing counsel a kissy face. And you a married man, bro. Like, and I'm gonna dig into this a little bit later, man. But you always talking about your mocha chocolate covered queens and how black men need to protect these chocolate-nated queens and such. And now when black women see this, they like, he's a hypocrite. That's what they think. All right, let's
one side of the spectrum and I'm on the other side of the spectrum. And she said, ha, 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 ha. And I said, well, your gorgeousness makes the photo, so there's that.
Yeah, that ha, 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 ha probably could have been because Miss Mace was nervous. What did she say to you, dog? You understand what I'm saying? You too old for that. You just too damn old.
And a little smiley face. Again, I'm just saying that trying to be nice to her in the belief and the effort that if I'm nice to her,
you weren't being nice to her, you were flirting with her. You sent an emoji, little kissy face emoji with the little laugh to try to play it off, but you on a fishing expedition. If she bit, if you were Idris Elba, she probably would have bit. Y'all would have been hanging out at the Holiday Inn somewhere later on that week. But you are a 60-something-year-old middle-aged black man who's a professor. And, you know, that's what youngsters do. That's a bite. He gave you a little kissy face to see what the response is going to be. You know, and she gave you that nervous laughter response like, ew. That's what she did. I need 11 more super.
I prove that we don't have any bitter consequences from our fracas on television.
Bro, you could have just said that. All you had to say was, ma'am, Madam Representative, thank you so much. It was an honor and a pleasure. Although I vehemently disagree with your position, I respect your position and I appreciate your advocacy for your position. You didn't have to send an emoji with a kissy face on it. That's inappropriate, especially with this whole Me Too thing. But again, you're supposed to be pro-black. You're supposed to be fighting racism, and you just sat up there and alluded that this woman was a racist because she misspelled Kamala Harris's name. And now you swapping kissy faces with her. So this is just a bad look. It's just a bad look. Let's keep on listening.
And if I will, everybody and their mama want these tickets for today. You look gorgeous as always. Then my colleague, Lisa.
Now what he's trying to do is explain that he sends pictures like this all the time to people. But you're talking about your colleagues. You're talking about your friends. You're not talking about a white woman from South Carolina who you just inferred was a racist because of the way she pronounced somebody's name. Okay? So it's a different situation, sir.
At Vanderbilt, when we took pictures, I sent them to her and I said, me and Miss Gorgeous. And then Councilwoman Mary Sheffield, who is a councilwoman.
You could get sued for that. That's called sexual harassment in the workplace, sir. That's what that's called. That's sexual harassment in the workplace. You out of pocket, okay? And you trying to explain this away like I do this all the time. It's just you're inappropriate all the time. And now you got you got fronted on. You got outed for your inappropriate behavior.
In Detroit, and I said, gorgeous and brilliant leader, bless you and thank God for your courage, strength, and leadership. And then my dear friend.
So fellas, look, here, the other thing you should know, to see all that pandering and that pandering that these dudes do, it eventually will get you in trouble. And that's what you see happening because some of these women are not going to play that game with you.
And Susan Taylor, a renowned editor, queen, that's what I call her. So good to see you today. You look gorgeous as always. And your soul-inspiring conversation was uplifting as always. Feel better. Love y'all. And then finally, to Dana Bash. Well, I congratulate, if I will, everybody and their mama want these tickets for her on the interview she did with Kamala Harris. And then on another interview, saying people of color are eating cats, that's racism. I was quoting her. I said, thank you, Dana Bash. Besides being brilliant and courageous, you also look gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then I put a power hand and a smiley, a face with hearts. I ain't hitting on Nancy Mace. Her on the interview she did with Kamala Harris. And then on another, I often acknowledge people's gorgeousness and men's too by everybody.
Hold on a minute. Did he just say he acknowledges men's gorgeousness too? Is that, bro? Come on, man. Cut it out. Stop playing. You're doing too much, Doc. You doing too much. Now you telling us you acknowledge the gorgeousness of men. You got to cut it out, bro. You gotta stop. You gotta stop. You're just making it worse. He won't let it go. Okay? This cat will not let it go. Let's keep listening.
My point is that this is a woman trying to exploit a situation, trying to pretend as if I was trying to hit on her. She literally has that text exchange that I read the whole of it to you. I ain't trying to holler at her. I ain't trying to be with her. I often acknowledge people's gorgeousness, and men too, by everybody. So my point is that this is a woman.
Said, I acknowledge the gorgeousness of men. Did you hear that? Him trying to save himself. I acknowledge the gorgeousness of men too. Bro, you making it worse, man. I mean, none of this is appropriate, sir. None of this that you're doing, none of this that you're saying is appropriate in any way. Okay? None of this is appropriate. And and you apparently, you've done this before. According to you send women messages. Are these women? You're a married man. That's another thing. Let's keep listening.
I've not dated white women. Not that that's a problem.
I've not dated white women. Now, I'd like to know what his definition of dated is. Because you might not have dated white women public, or they might not have dated you publicly. But the question is, that's not the question. The question is, have you been playing in the lily patch? You understand? Have you been hanging out at the Snow Bunny farm? All right? Because apparently, if you think this, I mean, I don't want to speculate on this, but this is just a bad look. Somebody type bad look in the chat room.
All three of my wives have been 7 to 11 years older.
All three of my wives have been 7 to 11 years older. So now he's trying to pander to older women so that they will come say, well, he must be all right. He likes dating older women. You see what I mean? This cat is like 60 now. So you pandering to the 70 plus crowd, bro, trying to get them to save you.
Again, where in that text exchange am I hitting on you? No.
You're hitting on her when you send her a kissy emoji, sir. You sending her, let me look, sir. You hit, it looks like you hit on her. If I was looking at this objectively and I'm looking at a kissy face emoji, that looks like you blowing kisses. That's what that means. You might as well wrote kisses on there. And you just got off the internet calling this woman, you got off CNN telling this congressman she's implying that she's a rapist.
What you're trying to do is generate nastiness and viciousness because you're so bitter because you got your butt whipped that night.
She didn't get her butt whipped, sir. You out-talked that woman. You was loud talking that white woman. And she won. She put your record in Congress. Your text messages are in Congress now. They are in the records of the United States Congress. They're right there with George Washington's first speech. Okay? They're in there with Lincoln's address at Gettysburg. All right? They're in there with Barack Obama's first address to the joint session of Congress. And right behind that is Dr. Michael Eric Dyson's text messages to Miss Representative Grace trying to holler with kissy faces. That's going to be your representation, sir, throughout the history of America. In 200 years, historians are going to pull up your text messages that you sent to Miss Grace, to Miss Mace, and that's going to be who you are. Okay, that's where we at.
Because I told you then that what you were doing is wrong. And let me correct one thing I did say. That night I said, you're a wonderful woman. Right. And then I said,
last night he said she's a wonderful woman. But then when he rebuffed her, when she put him on blast, now what does he say about her?
I know you don't intend to do this. And she said, oh, are you calling me a racist? And of course I said, no, I wasn't. Let me correct myself. You are a racist.
Come on, man. You was trying to get some of that racist white coochie. That's what you was trying to do. It didn't look, hold on a minute. It didn't look like when you was hugged up next to that white woman, it didn't look like you cared if she was racist or not, sir. To me, when I was looking at it, it didn't look like you cared. And now you said she's a racist.
You are a racially charged, small-minded, bigoted person who is trying to exploit a situation to try to make people believe that I was hitting on you when I've just now read the entire exchange, which is...
Sir, she didn't make us believe you were hitting on her. Your text messages to her made us believe you were hitting on her, sir. Why? Sir, Dr. Dyson, my mama love this man. My mama think the world of this man. My mama about 70-something years old. They should go on a date. My mama think the world of you, man. And this is so inappropriate. This type of foolishness is breaking their hearts because you've been an advocate for black women in public, and now they caught you with your fingertips in the vanilla wafer jar. Okay, they caught you trying to use a spoon to get the last little bit of mayonnaise. You know how you had to turn that spoon sideways and with the tip of the spoon to get the little circle corner of the mayonnaise out so you can make your sandwich? That's what he was trying to do. Okay, and you got caught. And now you trying to say this white woman is racist. That's
false. I've read other exchanges with people where I've called them gorgeous and wasn't trying to hit on them.
You said you call men gorgeous too, sir. We caught that, Doc. You call men, you shouldn't do that, sir. That's sending off the wrong vibes. I need 10 more super chats.
And I have not dated white women. Not that that's a problem.
No, we know you don't think it's a problem.
But you got the wrong brother in me.
Wrong brother.
Again. Vicious, misleading, lying, distorting.
Could have been worse.
Trying to pretend.
Could have been worse if you'd have actually got through. If you'd have.
Praise God. Well, here's what I'm saying, fam. Not a good look, brother. Not a good look.
When that's the furthest thing from my mind. My mistake was being gracious to you. I'm trying to say, oh,
your mistake was sending that white woman a photograph with a kissy face, telling her she was gorgeous, sir. That was your mistake, sir. That was the error in your ways. All right?
Oh my God, we are opposites, but we can still be gracious to one another. I can still compliment you. I can still say nice things to you. Yeah. There was no attempt to do anything but to be gracious to you. But you got the wrong.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing, family. I want y'all to, and he's still talking. He went on The View today, and this brother is, I'm not. I mean, bro, just let it go, baby. Just let it. He won't let it go. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I'm not going to play all of this. I'll run through some of it, Let me know if you can hear it.
Let's get right into it. I feel like I'm used to seeing you on TV, but great to see you in person. Let's address this recent exchange you had with Congresswoman Nancy Mace when you were debating, you're crushing over her repeated mispronunciation of the vice president's name. Right. I think we have the clip. Kamala's. I will say Kamala's name anyway that I want to.
When you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
So now you're calling me racist.
I just said
yes, that is completely Kamala Harris. So because we live in the crazy year of 2024, she then later accused you of sending her flirty text, which she entered into the congressional record. Can you clear this up for us, Professor?
Absolutely. Well, first of all,
look.
It was great to be here with you, wonderful women. Yes. The thing is that let's look at a little background. I'm a preacher, so I know.
I'm a preacher. Praise God. Look at you. You want to rely on Jesus? Somebody like praise God in the chat room. Somebody type praise the Lord in the chat room.
And my own and others, right? Nobody's perfect. I saw Whoopi yesterday talk about the fact in regard to Janet Jackson, people make mistakes and we have to acknowledge that. Number two, as a professor, I've seen things evolve over space and time. What you could say 20 years ago, can't say today. Not because you're certainly wrong, but the temper of the times has changed. Right. So if you acknowledge a woman's beauty, that is a power imbalance, there's a problem there. But peer to peer, a different story. Still cautious, but different. And then thirdly, let's look at the politics. We're living in a toxic culture.
All right, man. See, now he done went all off, and I'm not about to sit up here and fool with this. Let's be honest. Let me get in tight, baby. Let me get in. Let's huddle up. Everybody, somebody type huddle up in the chat room. Somebody type. Oh God. I don't want to put this man on blast, but I kind of have to. And the reason is because people like this are a problem. Number one, they're a problem for black men. Number two, it's very shady, what he's doing. Now, here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. Golly, I used to like this dude, man. When I look at the relentless hypocrisy of prominent black male figures like Dr. Dyson, it's ignited outrage within the black community, particularly amongst black women. The sight of Dr. Dyson, supposedly a champion for black women, getting his hands caught in the vanilla sugar cookie jar is a blatant slap in the face. His ridiculous antics, mockingly dubbed as frolicking with Miss Vanilla Vivaciousness white supremacist queen, starkly betrayed the very people he claims to uplift and support. His public facade, which loudly proclaims love and admiration for black women, crumbles pathetically when juxtaposed with his private escapades of sending heart emojis to a white woman right after publicly condemning racism. The sheer audacity of this man, grinning ear to ear, all teeth, cozied up intimately with the very embodiment of what he denounces as nothing short of disgraceful, the sarcastic outcry, Missy Ann, care for a mint julep? It's powerful hot here. Is a biting reminder of how Dr. Dyson mirrors the historical betrayals that have plagued the black community. This sickening pattern of behavior doesn't just sow seeds of doubt, it harvests a full-grown crop of disdain amongst black women. They watch as black men in power continue to manipulate and deceive, playing them like puppets while pandering to white women. These actions aren't merely personal failings, they cast a long, ominous shadow over their professional and activist efforts and perpetuate the damaging stereotype that black men are disloyal to black women, corroding the trust that's crucial for collective social progression. Now, responses from the community, dripping with satire, loaded with resentment, captured the collective disillusionment. Remarks like, the doctor wanted some vanilla ice cream, and warnings like, don't insult Becky publicly and then be trying to get her cookies privately, aren't just throwaway lines. They're scathing indictments of a man who prioritizes personal gratification over his duty to those he says he stands for. So when black women express nothing but scorn for black men like Dr. Dyson, it isn't just personal judgment, it's a damning verdict on what they see as systematic failure within the community. This situation demands more than casual acknowledgement. It calls for a radical overhaul of integrity, consistency, and genuine advocacy that aligns truly with these leaders and what they preach. It's time that men like this lived up to the principles they profess with no audience in sight to rebuild the trust and earnestly champion the advancement and protection of the black women that they say they love so much. And at that, he failed. Now, here's what I'm going to do, because we're going to learn something. And I need 9 more super chats. So this man considers himself pro-black. Okay, this brother right here. Let me go on. Let me get him on back up here. Our pro-black brother. Let's get our pro-black king. Let's get him on back up here. Praise God. Let's get him up here. He said he a preacher too. Aren't they all preachers? Let's get him. He says, our pro-black brother right here. Okay. That's him. That's him right there. That's Dr. Dyson. He booed up. He got his little tennis shoes on and everything. What kind of shoes are those? Are those Pumas or Asics? What are those? I don't know. But I'm sure they were comfortable. He was running after that white woman. So here's the thing. And you guys know I really have a problem with the so-called pro-black move, these modern day pro-blacks. And I know a lot of you guys mean well, but these so-called pro-black leaders, And the reason is because I understand the pro-black movement or the black empowerment movement and how it emerged and why it emerged. Okay, it emerged back in the mid-1960s in the United States, and it grew out of the civil rights movement, and it became one of the most significant social and political movements in the 20th century throughout the world. And its roots can be traced to the authentic and broader struggle of Black folks in their rights and for representation, but it gained a distinct momentum and identity in 1966 following the shift in the civil rights strategies embraced by many Black American activists. The term Black Power, and somebody type Black Power in the chat room. Somebody type all power to the people in the chat room, okay? The term Black Power gained national attention during the March Against Fear in Mississippi in 1966, when Stokely Carmichael, who was the leader of the SNCC, which is the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, also known as SNCC, as I said, at the rally, he famously chanted the slogan, and this moment marked a significant shift in the tone and tactics of African American freedom struggles, emphasizing racial dignity, economic and political self-sufficiency, and freedom from oppression by whites. They went from "we shall overcome" to "we about to start swinging these fists." That's where that came from. And this guy right here, let's look at him. He does not look like Stokely Carmichael, okay? This is not a Huey P. Newton. This is not a Bobby Seale, and I'm gonna deal with this in a minute. The movement was not monolithic, but it encompassed a variety of perspectives on the best strategies for Black liberation. It included advocates for radical restructuring of society, such as the Black Panther Party for self-defense, and then which was founded in 1966 by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale in Oakland, California. And it advocated for Black folks' self-defense, and it implemented social programs to support Black communities. Some of my friends, man, they would go to the Black Panthers they would have little cafe type deals and little halls, and they would feed the children. The breakfast program. They would follow behind the police, and when police officers pulled over Black men, they would stand a certain distance away armed because they had the right to bear arms and observe. I think it was 10 feet. And so instead of just that "we shall overcome" Dr. Martin Luther King ideology, we're gonna put boots on the ground. Remember, this is 1966, so you had a lot of Black men coming back from the military, and they had military training, and using rifles and firearms wasn't anything new to them. So this is the environment. You had a lot of tough Black men fresh out the South. 20 some of them had been part of that second migration, so they was tough. They had firsthand experience with racism, and these are some hard men. You understand? These were tough guys. You understand? They weren't academics, okay? But nevertheless, so the Black Power movement was fueled by various components, which included a push for control of political administrative institutions in neighborhoods where Black people were the majority. It emphasized the need for Black pride. Somebody type Black pride in the chat room. And the creation of Black political and cultural institutions to nurture and promote collective interest and advance Black values. So what I'm saying is, it's not just about the individuals. They wanted cultural, they wanted institutions, because the institution is going to outlive a human being, okay? And so the thing is, this movement, it impacted American society in a lot of different ways. It challenged the pervasive racism and discrimination in America, and contributed to the empowerment of Black communities, and influenced the direction of what we call Black studies within the academic institutions. And it also impacted the arts, and it led to the Black arts movement, where artists and writers express their voices in a lot of new and impactful ways, okay? Now, there was a lot of controversy with it, but there's no movement that is not without controversy, and it faced a lot of criticism from many people, including the civil rights leaders, the traditional "we shall overcome, we'll win through peace." They feared that this militant posture, because remember, these brothers was out there following the police, they were getting in shootouts with the police. This is the Black Power movement. This is the Black empowerment movement, right? This is the in-your-face Black empowerment movement, right? And this is what this man is he's fighting racism everywhere he meets it, right? That's the legacy he picks up. But they basically saying it would provoke white backlash and it would undermine the civil rights achievements. And the FBI and the local police got involved and they began to target these so-called pro-Black power groups. Notably, the Black Panthers, they were under constant police surveillance. And despite all these challenges, this legacy of Black power and the movement still is evident today and has helped foster a sense of identity and agency and solidarity amongst Black folks. And it's influenced subsequent generations of Black activists and contributed to the discourse around race, democracy, and justice in America. Now, here's the thing. There's a distinction between the original proponents of Black power in that movement and the contemporary figures like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. And it lies in the context, approaches, and sometimes the goals of their activism. See, the differentiation highlights changes in the landscape of Black activism over decades, reflecting shifts in societal, political, and cultural dynamics. See, at this point, the original pro-Black activists, they emerged during a time of overt and legalized racial segregation in America. Somebody type "in your face" in the chat room. It was in your face, okay? Keep in mind, in 1955, we just got Brown versus the Board of Education. So people had just come out of desegregated schools. It was a lot of conflict. Mississippi was still Mississippi. Okay, and so we talking about in the 1960s and 1970s, activists were combating Jim Crow laws right then. They were dealing with disenfranchisement right then. They still had sundown towns back then. And the blatant institutional racism that was in your face. And so the civil rights movement had laid the groundwork for legal and social changes, but many Black folks still faced extreme inequality and violence. And so the original pro-Black activists often adopted more radical and confrontational tactics than the civil rights predecessors. You got Martin Luther King on one side, you got SNCC and the Black Power people and Malcolm X on the other side, okay? Organizations like the Black Panther Party literally took up arms for self-defense and created social programs to address community needs and embodying a form of militant activism that directly challenged the state authority and white supremacist structures. And this rhetoric was fiery, it calling for empowerment and self-determination and sometimes separatism and as a means to achieve true autonomy and equality. The primary goal was focused on tangible changes in the social and economic conditions for Black people, racial dignity, and political empowerment. And there was a strong emphasis on Black autonomy, economic independence, and the creation of Black-controlled institutions. Now, these modern-day activists, like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, okay? Even Dr. Umar Johnson and Boyce Watkins to a certain extent, these academics, they operate in a different context, okay? And while systematic racism persists, the legal framework of Jim Crow has been dismantled. Nobody can stop you from going to the school you want to go to, not blatantly. They can't just say it's because you're Black, all right? They have other stuff involved, the SAT and sending you to schools that are subpar, so now you got to compete with people that have the best opportunities. Yeah, that's systematic racism, but it's not so blatant, okay? The contemporary challenges that these so-called modern-day pro-Blacks deal with revolve around addressing more subtle forms of racial inequality, such as mass incarceration, economic disparities, and institutional biases in education and healthcare. So Dr. Dyson and those other scholars that I mentioned, they utilize academia and media as their platforms. And this is how they engage in activism, through scholarship and commentary and public speaking, not direct action, not confrontation, not community organizing. They're not boots on the ground. They're not walking around with guns in their hand following the police. This man got a white woman he got that white woman in his hand. Listen, this is his activism right here. That's his act. That's that snow bunny activism right there. You understand me? So their approach includes dissecting cultural, political issues through a scholarly lens. Okay, and it focuses on influencing the public's opinion and policy through dialogue and debate. That's what these modern day pro-blacks do. You see, the goals of contemporary Black intellectuals involve fostering a broader understanding of the Black experience and pointing out racism wherever it lies. Okay, advocating for systematic reform and promoting racial justice within the framework of the existing American democracy. And there's generally a greater focus on integration and inclusivity. See, they're seeking to transform institutions from within rather than creating separate institutions, okay? So while the original pro-Black activists were often revolutionary in their approach, aiming to radically alter or completely overturn this racist structure of their time, these contemporary pro-Blacks typically work within the system to promote change, okay? And this doesn't necessarily diminish their importance or the impact of contemporary activism, but it highlights a strategic shift from external confrontation to internal transformation, reflecting both progress in racial relations and evolving challenges of achieving racial justice. So what am I saying for the folks who are slow? What I'm saying is cats like this, they don't want to overturn the system like Huey P. Newton and those other folks back in the day. They just want a better position under the umbrella of white supremacy racism. They just want to, they want to sit a little closer to the big chair. They want to sit a little closer to the big table. That's all they want. They don't want to change anything. Those Black men and those Black women who fought in the 1960s and 70s, they were literally revolutionaries. They wanted to turn things upside down. This dude just wants a bigger car, a better white woman. He wants tenure. You see what I mean? This is what he wants. He wants his books to be sold like those white academics. This is what these cats want. And that's why when I hear these pro-Blacks leaning on the legacy of folks like Huey P. Newton and Stokely Carmichael, I'm like, nah, y'all not even in that category. You see? You're not even in that level of thinking. Stop comparing yourself to them. That's like when modern day Black people say, we still in slavery. You comparing yourself to what our ancestors had to go to, because my great-great-great-granddaddy was enslaved. I got the goddamn papers. You understand what I'm saying? I'm looking at the papers where my ancestors was bought and sold in Mississippi, and you telling me I'm sitting here with sitting on hundreds of thousands of dollars. I got a European car. I got a beautiful home. I got all these. You telling me that my life is no better than theirs? That's BS, man. And so comparing these so-called modern day Blacks, pro-Blacks, to what the brothers and sisters went through in the 1960s is a slap in their face. That means they died for nothing and we made no progress. And I'm not cool with that. You see? And see, here's the thing. Because of the evolution of the civil rights struggle from the streets to the seminar rooms, it's fundamentally changed the nature of Black activism, particularly in how risks are perceived and the visibility of personal sacrifice. During the 1960s and 70s, activism often involved physical presence at a protest, at the march, and sometimes violent confrontation with the police and other authorities. The risks were stark and immediate. You could get your butt kicked right then and there and locked down. Do you know how many times Dr. Martin Luther King was arrested? That man got an arrest record a mile long. If you just looked at his arrest record, you'd be like, damn. I'm talking about dozens and dozens of times. And he was nonviolent. Okay? Those brothers who were in the pro-black movement, many of them are not here with us anymore because they were shot down. Look at the shootout between the Black Panther Party and the Chicago Police Department. So when I say the risks were real and immediate, they were putting their lives on the line. Does this man look like he putting his life on the line? On a CNN panel, hugged up with this white queen afterwards? Huh? See, the difference between that level of commitment and what they have to do now, see, that type of activism made the commitment and the sacrifice of those brothers and sisters very apparent. In a way, it helped authenticate the sincerity of those involved. Wasn't no room for fakers. Now contrast that with what you see today. Today's fight against racial inequality often unfolds in academic settings through scholarly research and lectures and panel discussions. And this shift to a more intellectual and less physically risky arena, it obscures the intensity of the sacrifice involved. Activists are not typically risking physical harm, but they're instead navigating the complexities of institutional politics, public perception, and academic discourse. The environment, while safer, introduces new challenges and distinguishes there is a commitment, but it also facilitates opportunistic behavior. What do I mean by that? Okay. Well, let me say it like this. There's no clear and present street level danger. Okay. And although there is some subtle risk in academia, it's subtle. Nobody's going to hit you in the back of the, you're not going to get water hosed. You're not going to get shot by the police. Okay. And so it's less apparent. It's a lot less painful. You understand? You see, that's the thing. And so because of that, now we have a situation where a lot of these people, you can't separate the real from the fake. You can't separate the ones who are really down and who will really put it on the line for people who are just opportunists. You see? And so what do we do with that? How do we separate these folks who are just basically opportunistic activists? And see, this type of people, these type of individuals use their status as their skin, right? Their skin and their status as a pro-black advocate to gain personal benefit. They use it for notability and sexual favors. Okay, and from a psychological perspective, this behavior can be explained by the Machiavellian aspect of personality, where a person manipulates others to achieve their own ends. And this exploitation of a social movement for personal gain can lead to mistrust within the community and undermines the authenticity of the advocacy. See, we can't trust these people. Am I telling y'all the truth? And look, if you can't, you wonder why you can't comment? Because it's members only. If you haven't become a member by now, somebody needs to start passing out membership. This is the conversation you need to be talking about. All my wrench mob and all my members, y'all hit the #1 button. So then you also had, not only do you have the opportunistic advocate, you also have the reformed convict. Okay, and this profile describes the type of person who embraced the so-called pro-black activism. Where are all your B1s at? Somebody type B1 in the chat room. I want you to check the records of these B1s. A lot of these so-called B1s, they just reformed convicts. Some of y'all leaders that you don't know about, reformed convicts. They got trials right now. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with putting black first. What I'm saying is you're dealing with a lot of people who are disingenuous and not authentic as your leadership. You understand? They'll say that they have basically, when you talk about the reformed convict, they became pro-black following a transformative experience while incarcerated. And psychology suggests that these significant life events, such as experience the penal system, it can lead to profound personal reflection and shifts in identity. The adoption of religion is something else that happened, or activism. It causes it serves as a coping mechanism for guilt. It's a search for redemption, a meaningful redirection of life. These are the people you're dealing with. All right. Then, of course, you always have the call seeker. And I'm talking about these pro-blacks. I'm giving you the types, right? They're younger, they're ideological, they're as far as they're ideologically driven. And this type of pro-black activist is motivated by a desire to be part of a larger movement. And sometimes more for the sense of belonging and purpose than for a cause itself. Psychologically speaking, this can be linked to Erickson's stage of psychosocial development, particularly the stage focusing on identity versus role confusion, where individuals are exploring different paths to solidify their identity. We get a lot of people joining the fraternity like that. These different fraternities, they join the fraternity because, they just looking for a cause to get behind. They're not authentically with it. They don't have to put anything on the line. They don't have to jump out there and run in front of the police, so it's easy. Now, the other thing is the validator. I'm going to call this the validator. These are your pro-blacks, the light-skinned brothers who feel the need to prove their blackness. And they do so because of societal pressures and this internal conflict regarding their racial identity. It's always the most light-skinned brothers and sisters that seem like they the most down. It's because they're looking for validation. They feel like they have to prove something. You see, they barely black themselves, but I'm telling y'all the truth. They barely black, but they got to be the blackest black. It's like the short dude that's always you hanging out. He always the one in the club picking fights. Always the one talking the loudest. Got everybody else battling it out because he can't keep his mouth shut. And as far as the validator, the psychological theories such as a social identity theory explain how people derive part of their self-concept from their perceived membership in social groups, which can lead to them to perform their identity in more explicit ways to gain acceptance and validation from both their group and the wider society. So that's the light-skinned cats. And then, of course, you have the academic activists, okay? And this type engages with pro-black movements primarily through intellectual and theoretical frameworks encountered in academic settings. And their activism is often informed by scholarly debates and academic discourse surrounding race, which might sometimes detach them from grassroots realities, which this cat is. You can't on one hand be messing around with white women and then think that, the community is going to accept you or trust you. This whole pro-black thing for you is just academic. It's an academic study. If I'm going over your head, just go ahead and leave now, okay? If I'm going over your head, just go. This page is not for you. This is for people who want to have true understandings. It's black people like this. And see, look, I'm gonna tell y'all again. I always tell you, brothers, I want you to marry women of African descent. I don't care if she's Black American, African, Caribbean. I don't care if she's from South America. I want you to get you the finest Afro-Brazilian woman you can get, man. Get you a fine one if you can. But if you can't find a woman of African descent, go ahead. If you're dealing with a woman and she treats you with love and respect, and she's fit, she's feminine, she's beautiful, she gives you peace of mind. I don't care what color she is, baby. Go ahead and find that piece of happiness. Life is short. You're gonna look up and be 40, and then you're gonna blink and you're gonna be 50, and then you're gonna be 60. You're gonna be like, damn, I'm ready to sign up for AARP. And I just remember being 24. So you want to spend some time with somebody who loves her. I want you to find love, fellas. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But see, what I'm not gonna do is be one of these hypocritical pro-blacks. On one hand, I'm telling you what you can't do with your heart and your body parts and who you can't have sex with. And then on the flip side, I'm out here messing around in the Snow Bunny patch. You understand? I'm over at the Snow Bunny farm during the day. During the day, I'm pro-black, but at night, I got a whole white woman in my bed. I'm not going to tell y'all that. And see, that's the problem that I have with these pro-blacks, because they're not authentic. Now, here's the thing, okay? And when I talk about people like Dr. Dyson, his public persona and career, we can infer that, you know, he has a couple of these different profiles, and there's more of them like him. You see, and none of them can completely define or actually get that deep. I don't know the man, and I'm not a psychologist, but he definitely comes off like one of these academic activists. And Dr. Dyson is more aligned with that profile. He's a professor, an intellectual. His activism is deeply rooted in academia. He's not boots on the ground. He's not going to be out there walking next to UEP Newton fighting with the police. He addresses issues of race and inequality primarily through scholarly work, lectures, and publications. And this role involves using academic framework to analyze and discuss systematic issues, making his activism informed by research and intellectual debate. I need 7 more super chats. He's also possibly a validator. He's one of them light-skinned dudes that you know, he feels like he has something to prove. Okay. And you know, I'm not that dude. I don't really give a damn. I think y'all figured that out by now. I know who I am. I'm confident who I am. You don't like me, hell with you. You understand? But it's a lot of light-skinned brothers that feel like they have something to prove. And his active vocal stance on issues affecting the Black community, it could be seen as a way to him try to affirm his identity and dedication to the cause. Though it's clear his engagement goes beyond validation, it's a significant part of his personal and professional. Now, here's the thing. There's some contradictions, okay? And I've noticed this when I was a youngster. Now, you know, you guys know I went to Grambling State University. I need 7 more super chats. I went to Grambling State University back in the 90s. And, you know, we used to have our little X hats on and so forth. And, you know, Uncle D used to hang out with the 5%ers, okay? I was a member of the Nation of Islam Student Association. I grew up in a household where we had a lot of Black Afro-centered learning going on. You know, we would talk about history. And I mean, a lot of these things, of course, I would listen to all the great speakers, whether it be the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the speeches, and Malcolm X, and all these different things. I would read the books. I read Roots at 10 years old, read it from cover to cover. It was 1,000 pages. And, you know, that's one of those things that I did. And I always had that Afrocentric upbringing. I remember the first time I saw the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I was 7 years old. So, you know, that took me on a path. I stopped eating pork at 14 on my own, even though I came from a family of pork eaters. and don't get it twisted. Back before then, I used to love some hot hog head cheese. So my path to Blackness and Black empowerment has been authentic and has been organic. You see, but I don't consider myself a pro-Black, because if I was pro-Black, I'd take my Black ass to Africa. You understand? What Uncle D wants is a bigger house. I don't even want a bigger house. I just want another room, so I put some more of these people in it, and you know, get my little backyard straight. You understand what I'm talking about? And I'm honest with y'all about that. Mostly, I want to pay less taxes. That's what I want. I want to keep more of my money, and I want to be able to live off my interest and get me a villa down in the DR. That's what I want. You understand me? So at least I'm keeping it 100 with you. You understand? That's why I'm not one of these pro-Blacks, but I do understand what America's about. America's a money-making machine, and I'm here to get my money, and I want you to get your money. Somebody type money in the chat room. Somebody type get money in the chat room, okay? That's why we always talk about high-value men, becoming a high-value man, because if you can't do it in America, you really can't do it anywhere else. Nevertheless, as a young man, of course, I love my people. That's why I went to HBCU College. I have a Black-run law firm. I live in a Black community. You see what I'm saying? All the women, my baby mama, ex-wife, and my current wife, they all Black. You understand what I'm talking about? I love being a Black man. I would not want to be anything else but a Black man, and I want y'all to embrace your Blackness. Okay? Now, that being the case, I respect everybody. You understand? I appreciate, I believe, you know, there's a place for everybody on this planet. You understand? I can give credit. I can give credit to the people of Asia for all their arts and cultures. I can give credit to the people of Africa and all the African descendants around the world. I can give credit to the European man. And a lot of y'all want to throw that European man under the bus, but God damn it, that white boy has organized the resources and human capital and labor around the world like no other person has. Okay, so let's everybody has attributes. Everybody has contributed. All races, all cultures have contributed to this country, to this world. You see what I'm saying? Everybody has a place. Let's not act like that. Now that said, when I would hang around these pro-blacks, when Uncle D was hanging out with the 5%ers, right? You know, I noticed that you know, I loved it. You know, I love to talk about Black history. Little known facts. You understand? And I would entertain that. And it was cool to get in the cipher. Somebody typed cipher in the chat room. It was cool to learn from everybody. And we would have guest speakers come to the campus. And even me getting into law school, I wanted to be an environmental lawyer, which I am, and fight against environmental racism. So that's how I even became a lawyer. Just so happened I started doing personal injury and car accident cases because you got to get good at that if you want to get good at some of the other stuff. Either that or be a prosecutor. And because I didn't want to put Black men in jail, I just stayed away from criminal law. You see what I mean? So those are my options. I did what I had to do, and I chose a path. Now, here's the thing. I would often find that these brothers who were so-called pro-Black, even on the college campus, they would criticize America and the institutions in America. They would call them oppressive. But here's a twist. They themselves were studying one of these big institutions, i.e. a university. You understand what I mean? And shout out to my man, Andre M. Thank you so much. I ain't forget you, baby. I need 6 more super chats. Y'all gonna give me my super chats. I need 6 more super chats. But nevertheless, on one hand, they criticizing these institutions, but on the other hand, they're at a major American college. I found that ironic, and it showed just how tricky it can be for us to deal with this system that we don't always agree with. Nevertheless, they use the resources and opportunities of the university to get ahead, even though they criticize it. And this kind of situation is something many of us face. It's about using what's available to us, but also feeling a bit conflicted about it. I didn't feel conflicted about it because I'm like, I ain't pro-Black like you. You see what I mean? You a hypocrite. And here's another thing. Their personal lives really didn't match up with what they preached. Here you are talking about, yeah, word is bond, you know, gods and the earths and blah, blah, blah. They talk that big game about living right and being moral and about being good to the queens. Shout out to the queens. But then some of them was partying a little too hard, drinking, smoking that weed, and not even respecting themselves or the queens. How many so-called Black queens have popped up pregnant, messing around with the gods, with the gods in the earth? I'm just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just pointing it out. And I wasn't like that. You see, I would fast. I would go sometimes every semester. I would fast for like 7 days, just not eat, just to test my discipline. And I wasn't messing around with all those women in college. I was trying not to get sent back to the hood. My whole thing was I didn't want to go back to the ghetto. I'm here for a purpose. I'm from South Central. I'm fresh out the LA riots, as a matter of fact. And I'm trying not to go back to the hood because I don't want to be sleeping on my mama floor back in South Central LA. And anybody who knows about LA, especially South Central, we don't have air conditioning and we don't have heater. We got a little grate that comes out the floor. These houses are so old, like it's heat that comes, it's a radiator that comes out of the floor. So if your ass is cold, you cold. And anybody who spent any time in LA, you know, LA gets real cold. So the last place I wanted to sleep on was my mama's rug, because at that point I had some young sisters. So it's like, I'm not trying to go back to the hood. They gave me 3 meals. I ate breakfast, I ate lunch, I ate dinner. I went and studied. I washed my clothes. I kept studying. I got 3.7 GPA my first semester, straight out of South Central LA. You understand what I'm saying? That's how serious and dedicated I was to the cause. Because me being empowered is me doing the best I can as a black man so I can get to the point where I could actually be beneficial and helpful to my people. You understand me? That's the type of black empowerment I'm talking about by being an example. You see? Now, the kind of behavior that I saw from the so-called pro-blacks on the campus, and these was the hardcore dudes. They had the little African medallions on their head. They had the little X hats rolling around. It didn't, their behavior in public, right? They weren't practicing what they're preaching. And another contradiction, a lot of these so-called brothers, these pro-black students ended up dating or even marrying white women. You understand me? They end up, look at all the so-called pro-black women that are married to white men. Look at all these so-called congressmen, these congresswomen, Ketanji Brown. Name one of them. All these black congresswomen who are always fighting against white supremacy. Not in their bedroom, they're not. They got a whole white man in there. Even Kamala Harris, she got her whole white man and some white kids. You understand? And you fighting again, you talking about racism? I don't believe you. You see? And that's what I'm talking about. You label these same people oppressors and you dating them. That doesn't make sense to me. That's not authentic. And see, this caused quite a stir and made me, in my mindset, made me question their sincerity. And it seemed like they were saying one thing, but they were living another way, which they were. All these contradictions, it made it real hard for me to fully support and align with that mindset. And here's another one. I always found these so-called pro-blacks, especially when they would come to college, these people came from like institutions, high schools that were, mixed. They went to school with white folks. They were the prom king. And then by the time they get to college, they either turn to gangsters or they turn pro-black. And so it's like, man, and then somebody who's legitimately from the ghetto, right? Uncle D is legitimately from the hood. Let me show you me. This is me right there with my little thumb in my mouth. That's me right there. I'm legitimately ghetto. You understand me? This is where I grew up, right over there. That's 60th and Normandy. That's South Central LA. This is Uncle D back in the day when I was a youngster. You see those Chuck Taylors? That's Venice Beach, California. Do you see those Chuck Taylors right there? You understand me? That's Uncle D. And back in college, some of you all who are keen in the eye, you see me back there, right? Now, who is this man with this kente cloth print on? This is what I was into. You see, so I was 100% all the way down with the so-called pro-black movement. And to a certain extent, of course, I love my people. That's why I come on here and talk to y'all every night and try to help y'all get y'all mind right. But, I legitimately love my people. I'm not like these other cats. You see what I'm saying? You don't have to like what I say. I love you despite yourself, but I know how you are. You understand me? And so when I deal with these contradictions, when I talk to these so-called academics, the gap between their words, these modern day pro-blacks, the gap between their words and their actions, it's a bad look. It doesn't sit well with me, okay? And it makes me question the whole movement and their representation, these modern ones. See, it's the hypocrisy, particularly when it involves leaders who advocate for moral principles and social changes while behaving contrary to the principles. You see? And that's going to have a wide range of negative consequences. Loss of trust. And this is what y'all should be. See, when I see this white man, this black man right here, on one hand, you telling this white woman she's a racist on this video.
You are intending,
okay? You telling this white woman she's a racist on the video. And then you turn around and you trying to get all booed up with her. You understand me? That's going to make me lose trust. That makes my people lose trust in you. See, the immediate consequences is that these black queens that you say you love so much, these chocolate effervescent goddesses that you say you love, look at you like a hypocrite. And see, our people perceive a disconnect between you as an intellectual leader and what you preach, as opposed to what you practice. And it leads to a significant loss of confidence and trust, not only in those black men like Dr. Dyson, but also the institutions and the movements they represent. And of course, credibility is crucial for anyone in a position of influence and authority. And hypocrisy can severely damage a person's credibility and make it challenging for them to effectively advocate for causes to be taken seriously by an audience. You're a black man. Shout out to my man TIQS. Praise to the Most High, Uncle D. I will continue to support and vote my interest. Yeah, man, that's what I want you to do. I need 5 more super chats. Okay? You're going to have reduced influence. And mind you, when they see Dr. Dyson, they see a black man. Okay? So this is a black man. Everybody sees it. White folks see it. Black women see it. And they just say, man, them N-words are full of shit. That's what they saying. They say them N-words are full of shit. All we got to do is throw a white woman at her. Look at that. You compromised. This man looks compromised right here. You went from arguing with this woman, right? You went from so-called arguing with this woman and calling her or inferring that she was a racist, and you straight up called her a racist on your little video. And but you trying to get emojis from her. You trying to get these little you over here trying to get her to respond to your little heart emojis. Okay? The other thing is you cause division. See, that hypocrisy leads to internal conflicts and division. It's people right now who want to believe you. It's dudes on the internet, man, I love Dr. Dyson. I don't believe that white woman. Well, what you mean? Why you don't believe she just, you don't have to believe her. Look at the text messages. You got a lot of people who feel betrayed and delusioned by your actions, and they disengage, or they split from us. They just turn their back on black folks. And these are black folks that do it. You see? And here's the thing, man. And I said this earlier, and I want y'all to hear me out. And I need 5 more super chats because I ain't going to be here all night with this. We're going to deal with this because I've dealt with this. And I see it happening all the time, these hypocrites. Okay? And you want to know why you can't comment? The reason you can't comment is because you need to become a member. All right? At the core, well, let me take a little quick break. I'm going to come right back. You guys hit the #1 button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already.
Spurling podcast, click your mouse pad. Yeah, we out back. Hit the like, hit subscribe. Don't just hate watch, cause we outside. Let them hate watch, go and play pop. We just lay back. He don't play that. We don't play back. We don't play back. We go way back. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. Black men, yeah, we earn something. Tune in, gotta learn something. Uncle D podcast, bump it. Likes up, hit the sub button. This is Dennis Spurling podcast. Don't just hate watch, hit subscribe and let them know we outside. Don't hold hate, donate. Super chat, cash app. Put something in the collection plate. Church. Church.
I want y'all to make sure y'all hit the #1 button. And we're going to kind of get back to what we like to do over here, man. I need y'all to check in at a certain point when it's time to check in. I need to checking in to start happening again. We got to go ahead and get this algorithm pumping. All right, welcome back to the broadcast. So, in case you don't know how to join the membership, let me go on over here and show you real quick. If you want to comment on this page, you got to join the membership. You got to become a member. So go to the home page here, bam, and you want to become a member. There's I believe there's a button on here somewhere where you can become a member. I'm out here trying to show y'all something. Look at that membership. Yeah, just click on here somewhere. Somewhere you can click on it. I know it's somewhere to do it. Sign up for user experience research. Man, yeah. Y'all know how to do this. I don't know how to do it. I know it's on here somewhere. I know you guys know how to do it. I wish I had planned this out ahead of time. But the bottom line is, man, just click on here, become a member. It's on here somewhere. What do I need to click? Somebody, all my mods, let me know where I need to click. Oh, yeah, there we go. Join. Bam, I knew it was on there somewhere. So all you got to do is just go to my homepage, scroll down, and click on this button that says join. And you can become a paper chaser, $4.99, young and hustling. I have a lot of videos, a lot of the stuff that my Passport Bro videos are all in the Rich and Rolling. And the instructive videos on how to build businesses, those are in there. Young and hustling, that'll get you some stuff. But if you want to comment on the page, man, you gotta become a member. Okay, so just go ahead and commit to that now. All you guys who've been dedicated for a minute, y'all make sure y'all pass out some free memberships to folks. But you know, and I certainly would appreciate that, man. It's only $4.99 a month. And then that way you can comment. And the thing is, I want to reward my members and my Wrench Mob guys, but especially my members who've been dedicated so long. Okay. So now you're going to be the ones, we're going to do this. Maybe I'll loosen it up sometimes, but for the most part, that's your reward. You become a member, you can comment. Now, shout out to my man, TIQ has gifted 5, the Dennis Spurling podcast memberships. Yeah, man, let's get that membership up. Now, here's the thing. At the core, the stance of many of these people who, and shout out to all my pro-blacks. Shout out to everybody who's B1. Shout out to everybody who is authentically and genuinely 100% in love with their people and they want to see our people rise. Shout out to them. But we ain't got room for the fakers. You understand me? All right. So here's the problem. See, the stance of many who identify as pro-black, it suggests a complex relationship with this system of white supremacy and racism that we live under. Now, I want you to look within your own mind. There are 54 African nations and dozens of other majority black countries where you could potentially relocate. But there's a noticeable lack of movement towards these nations. And this hesitance indicates that their aim, shout out to the pro-blacks, their aim is not to be fully or not to fully escape the clutches of white supremacy. Because if America is white supremacy, surely, and that's your enemy, surely you would want to escape. But that's not what you want to do. You want to secure a more advantageous position within the existing framework. That's what you want. This perspective sheds light on a reality that where black folks adapt to some cases of, and in some cases exploit the very system that we criticize. See, you benefit from this system and its resources and its opportunities, and you recognize that while racial hierarchies are a global phenomenon and it's very intense here in the United States, in this current environment, these structures present hurdles and that are inconvenient, but not entirely prohibitive. So you've learned to deal with it like the weather. What I'm trying to say is, under the umbrella of white supremacy, if white supremacy was an umbrella, you are the low man on the totem pole as a black person having to experience anti-black racism, but you don't want to go anywhere. Instead, you want to force this system to accept you. You want a better position. You want more stuff. Somebody type more stuff in the chat room. You want a better seat at the table. You want your chair to have a cushion in it when you're sitting at the table. Okay? See, we've had monumental efforts against systematic white supremacy and racism waged by previous generations. And that involved direct confrontations with deeply ingrained social injustices. I told you what the real pro-blacks did. They put boots on the ground. They came with the armaments. They confronted the police. And they faced immense hardships. And they even laid down their lives. And they challenged and changed the discriminatory practices and policies that were in play. Now, in the stark contrast, these contemporary battles, often engaged by this current generation, they're minor. Well, one example is going into debates surrounding the pronunciation of a culturally specific name, which defies standard English phonetic norms. What am I talking about? You're arguing about Kamala and Kamala, or Kamala or Kamala. This is what you're arguing about? This is what racism is boiled down to these days? That's the fight. Our ancestors were standing in front of police cars and getting hosed. Children were getting hosed by water hoses. And you're fighting with a white woman from South Carolina about how she pronounces some Indian woman's name? That's your fight? Now, I agree that is certainly reflective of broader cultural respect and identity and affirmation, but it does appear trivial when compared to the life and death struggles that our ancestors, our foundational Black American ancestors, had to deal with. And this transition from monumental struggles to what are sometimes perceived as minor or symbolic disputes suggests a significant shift in the focus of activism. The fierce battles for fundamental rights and a systematic overhaul have been replaced in part with campaigns for cultural recognition and respect in everyday interactions. Now, these efforts are undoubtedly important, okay, for dignity and identity, and there's a risk that they may overshadow or divert attention from ongoing substantive issues of inequality and systematic discrimination, and they still require some action. Okay, but fighting over microaggressions is far different than somebody having German shepherds sicked on your wife and children. Okay, now this evolution in the nature of the battles fought under the banner of racial justice and equality raises questions about the priorities and strategies of these so-called modern-day pro-blacks. It prompts a reflection on whether the focus on smaller symbolic victories might dilute the push for profound societal changes that are still in need. And what it does is that you fighting over the minutia, and that just stalls the progress in addressing the larger issues. It trivializes racial issues. See, here's the thing. Okay? We are focused on the actions of Dr. Dyson. Why? Because despite being a married man, he has exhibited behaviors that starkly contrast with the values he purportedly espouses. Let me peel back the layers of hypocrisy and critique that surround such a public persona, particularly when men like him engage in interactions, Black men like him engage in interactions that suggest a pursuit of personal gratification rather than the greater good. Consider the glaring hypocrisy of a man who publicly disparages certain groups of people, white folks specifically. Let's say metaphorically disparaging them by calling them Miss Ann, right? A colloquial term for white woman. Yet behind closed doors, he seeks the approval or intimacy with Miss Ann. And this contradiction not only undermines his integrity, but also raises questions about his fidelity and the sincerity of his public declarations. Can we believe him? You say you love Black women, but here you are flirting with this white woman who's put you on blast, brother. And our people are looking at that. Our women are looking at that. And you making all Black men look bad when you do that. It's embarrassing, to say the least. It's inappropriate. And then on top of that, what were you arguing with this woman about? Was a black man lynched in Mississippi? Were children denied access to a school? No, you were engaging about how to properly pronounce Kamala Harris's name. And so the futility of engaging in disputes that serve no purpose other than to stroke your ego. That was you were trying to make this woman pronounce that Kamala Harris's name right? That's ego stroking. These superficial battles contribute to nothing substantive to the community or its betterment. And it displays a lack of depth and maturity in leadership. They used to call us nigger for the past 400 years. That's what our ancestors were fighting against. And you worried whether this woman pronounces this Kamala Harris's name with the proper A? And let's not look over the inappropriate physical conduct. When you have a person like Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, who has been a proponent of black academia, and he outright ignores the boundaries that should govern professional behavior, it's not just a minor slip. It reflects a profound disregard for the norms and expectations that anchor us in ethical practice. And what can be said about his choice of attire? Sneakers? Okay, cool. But with a formal suit, this might seem a trivial point to some, but it speaks volumes about his judgment and his respect for professional environments that he inhabits. I ain't never seen Brother Malcolm X in a pair of tennis shoes when he was talking to an audience. Brother Malcolm was always suited and booted, and those are the shoes that you're supposed to be filling. Even the good brother, Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, these choices might be dismissed by some as a minor faux pas, but they symbolize a deeper disconnection from the standards expected of someone in his position. When I came and spoke this year at the Black Manosphere 4.0 in Houston, Texas, I didn't come in there with tennis shoes on. I came suited and booted. I made sure my 14, now 15-year-old son was suited and booted. Out of respect for my brothers. Out of knowing my position and knowing what I stand for and knowing who I am to a lot of black men. Now, I didn't put the Gators on. I was almost going to put them blue Gators on, y'all. Somebody type blue Gators in the chat room. But I came in there looking like business. You understand me? Because I want to represent you well. So here's the thing. Your conversations, what you're arguing about, they symbolize a deeper disconnection from the standards expected from someone in your position. More gravely, we see allegations, and I need 4 more super chats. More gravely, we see allegations of serving a self-serving leadership. When a leader like Dr. Dyson prioritizes his own personal benefits, be they emotional, physical, or social, they betray the trust placed in them by communities, by black folks who expect them to champion their causes, not their personal agendas. The impropriety of engaging in possibly suggestive behavior suggests, especially given his marital status, is particularly alarming. And such actions call into question his motives and undermine his professionalism, casting a shadow over all his interactions and the authenticity of his black advocacy. Furthermore, reducing complex issues to mere objectifications, commenting on physical appearances when there are serious ethical and professional concerns at stake, distracts significantly from the gravity of discussions that should be focused on character and principle. The desperation and lack of decorum he exhibited reflect a man driven not by commitment but to social justice, but by need to fulfill personal desires and whims. The lack of self-control is not just a personal failing, it's a public spectacle that detracts from his credibility and that causes that he claims to support. So what I'm saying is these criticisms paint a picture of a man who, despite his public persona as a defender of Black values and Blackness and Black women, fails to live up to the very standards he advocates for. And this dissonance between public statements and private actions not only diminishes his leadership, but it also impacts the integrity of the movements he represents. Let's be clear. As we demand accountability from others, we must also demand it from ourselves and our leaders. The alignment of one's public and private personas is not merely an ideal strive toward, it's a fundamental expectation of anyone who takes the mantle of leadership. Now, that being the case, I need 4 more super chats. But I also want you all to consider the so-called pro-Black movements, these modern day pro-Blacks. On one hand, they praise Black women. And then they get caught chasing the snow bunny. You praise Black women on one hand, but then you won't marry one. You say you're the protector of Black women, but you get a bunch of them pregnant and you won't marry them and put them in your household. You say you're going to do something and you didn't do it. The Black Panthers didn't have the education that a Dr. Umar Johnson has or Dr. Boyce Watkins has. The Black Panthers didn't have the education that a Dr. Michael Eric Dyson had. They didn't have the access to resources, but they built their schools. The brothers in the Nation of Islam, many of them are reformed criminals. Many of them come from poverty, but they built their schools. I see them working. They come from a legacy of production. These men, and including the Black Panthers of the past, they were willing to lay their life on the line for Black people. All I see from these academics is nothing. I see talk. As an attorney, an academic myself, it's incumbent upon me to go on ahead and give them what they ask for, and that's why I do. See, these are not just Black men who are just babbling and speaking and talking crazy on the internet. These are learned men. And I'm not just going to sit by and let these men just destroy the legacy of Black empowerment without saying something. See, a lot of you all are not equipped to deal with them. And the reason is you haven't been through these academic rigors. You don't have these educational accomplishments. And it takes someone like myself to say, nah, I call cap. Is that what you youngsters say? We used to say bullshit. I call cap. Somebody type cap in the chat room. I call cap. And the more important thing is, fam, I need y'all to understand something. I don't like people lying to my people. If you're full of crap, go ahead and be full of crap. But I'm not going to sit up here and let you misguide my people. My people already suffer from ignorance. And the last thing I'm going to do is let one of you academics, you so-called pseudo-academics with your hypocritical rhetoric, say one thing and then be doing another. I'm not going to sit up here and let you get away with it. That's why I'm so hard on Dr. Umar Johnson, Dr. Boyce Watkins, and Dr. Dyson and any of the rest of them. It's not that I don't like these men. They're out of line. They're out of pocket. They're in violation. And they need to be called on their behavior. You can't on one hand be around here chasing white women. You can't on one hand be knocking Black women up and getting them pregnant and abandoning them and then telling everybody else you pro-black. Go be pro-black in your own household. That's where the pro-black starts. You pro-black, but you sleeping white. I can't, we don't let that slide. Shout out to Louis Harp. I need 3 more super chats. See, I come from an authentic pro-black background. I was raised in it. That's my family right there. You can't get more FBA than that. You understand me? This is my background right here. This is who I'm from. This is the things I chose to do in college. You understand me? These are the black men I chose to associate myself with. Shout out to the late, great Kevin Samuels. So I know who I am, and I know what I stand for. And, I'm not going to let these people sit up here and fool my brothers and sisters or disparage the name of black men, because you got us out here looking bad. And I had to say something. Nevertheless, I love you all. I appreciate you all. All you doctors, you can holler at me, baby. I'm here. Holler at Uncle D. Dr. Watkins, Dr. Johnson, Dr. Dyson. Attorney Spurling is here to talk to you. You're welcome to come talk to me and you can explain yourself. Because I think you have some explaining to do, especially if you're going to carry this powerful mantle of black empowerment. Nevertheless, this is Uncle D. I love y'all. I'm out.
In the Spurling podcast, hit the like button, subscribe.